Hello my friends, Nintendo's presentation from E3 2018 has come and gone and I'm here to talk about it. Please forgive me for the lack of the presence of my beautiful face on the screen. I know you miss it very much, but this is what I do when I'm trying to get something out real quick. Gotta be quick, gotta be with the times, gotta be topical. So, there's not a lot to talk about. Usually what I do with these things is I hit like point for point all of the opinions that I have about a thing. There was not really a lot of things, as you as you probably know. So not a whole ton of stuff to hit. We might as well start from the top though. I would say the first. There were a handful of third-party games that I don't know, just not really super familiar with. Just kind of okay, look like some games. That's cool. But the first-party Nintendo game was Super Mario Party. I've never been a massive fan of Mario Party. I kind of put those in the category of like the Mario Sports and stuff, where like it sounds like they're pretty fun. I've just not really been into them. This one did look pretty cool. Some interesting stuff they were doing with like using two different switches at once and kind of arranging them. Like that's pretty fun. That's some fun stuff. I couldn't tell from the trailer because, like I said, I'm not as familiar, but it sounded like everyone was saying that based on what we saw, it sounded like it was kind of returning to the series roots, which is what everybody was really hoping for. I know there were a lot of features that people did not enjoy, such as like running around the board in the same car or whatever, stuff like that. Everyone's saying just like, yeah, this looks pretty great. And if so, like, that's pretty notable. That's pretty notable that first they did it with Mario Tennis and now they're doing it with Mario Party, where it's like, why do we keep denying the fans what they want over and over again? Like, why do we insist on doing that? So like, definitely cool. Definitely does make this something that otherwise would have been something that would just kind of pass under my radar. It is at least notable for that, for appearing to finally, after years and years, giving the fans what they want. So I really do hope that's the case. I hope everyone is correct, because if so, that's really cool, because the stuff that they said about the Mario parties and made them less fun, it sounded like they were less fun, and that might be one of the reasons I was also kind of less interested in them. But depending on how this one turns out, I'm all for giving it a shot and seeing how a new Mario Party works, especially on the Switch, which is just really, really well suited for it. I'm honestly surprised I did not see this coming. I feel like Mario Party should have just been like, from the first second the Switch was announced, it should have just been like, okay, where's the Mario Party? It's just perfect for it. So yeah, in a way, it's good to finally see that coming, even if that was basically the only first party announcement in the whole presentation. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Next up, we had Fire Emblem, which was very cool to finally get a full reveal. I mean, it's been a year and a half now that we've only known that it was coming. In fact, a little bit more than that. Everyone was telling me that the one at the January event wasn't even like the actual reveal. They said it before that. I don't know, but we got some actual gameplay. I was a little surprised how, like, the actual, like, the battles where it, like, zooms in and shows them fighting, they look really good. Running around the overworld looked good, but just, like, looking down on the map, like, selecting your units and stuff, looked really, really plain. I was like, it's not the sort of game I feel like needs to have the best graphics in the world or anything, but I was just kind of surprised. And maybe it was just that footage, maybe different environments will offer different looks. I don't know. But like, just looking at that, I was just like, ugh, like that looks kind of gross. Just kind of, yeah, just plain. Plain is the word for it. It really needs to be polished up in a few different ways. But yeah, like the rest of it looks cool. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan. I haven't really sat down and played one. But I'm very happy that the Switch is finally getting it, even if I am so disappointed that the Switch's perfect run of not delaying anything beyond its initial window, it has finally been broken. Oh, and I'm so sad. I mean, I'm pretty sure, right? They did say Fire Emblem was for 2018. They didn't just say Fire Emblem and put a question mark on it. I could be wrong, but I feel like they said 2018, or we were expecting 2018, and this one is spring 2019. When I saw that, oh, I was so sad. just the perfect score is over. And even if you don't count that, even if maybe I'm wrong and it was never like promised for 2018, before I go to the next item on the list, I will say Yoshi. No Shoshi. Double Yoshi, no Shoshi was this year's E3 2018. That one definitely. That one said 2018. I'm almost certain that it did, and that one is just not even didn't even show up at all. So definitely not coming this year. I mean, I imagine they still technically could like, oh, now here's the reveal in the fall, and then it releases December 31st. It doesn't seem super likely. So that was weird. But again, we'll talk more about the show overall after we hit each point. Fortnite, you can't even call them rumors. Rumors and retail listings and data miners finding all sorts. Just like, yeah, Fortnite. The evidence was just piling up everywhere. It was staggering. And oh yeah, big surprise. There it is. There's Fortnite. But it's nice to finally get confirmation. It was really cool that it was dropping today. Like that was any kind of dropping today announcement. Like those are fun. Those are just, they get you a little more excited than a regular announcement would. It's just like, and you can just reach over to your Switch and get it right now. So that was really cool. And the same went for Hollow Knight. I've been waiting for that game for a long time. A lot of people told me it was like one of the best Metroidvanias in years. It looked super cool. I really want to play it. So it was like, oh good, we finally get to see when Hollow Knight's coming out. Oh, it's coming out right now. So that was neat. Very much happy about that. So that was it, at least for things I have an opinion on that wasn't Smash. Then they just went into Smash. It was like a third of the way into the presentation. I was right, by the way. I was completely right that the vast majority of this presentation was Smash. And I was wrong. They didn't open it with it, and they didn't open it with a character reveal. But it was most of it. And you know what? I gotta say, this Smash looks cool. Like okay, well, first off, they wouldn't confirm whether it was a port or a sequel. And like, there was so much fighting about it. And I was sure it was a sequel. Or at the they wouldn't hype up a port like that. They wouldn't leave us hanging. You know what I mean? So like, I was wrong. It's not exactly a sequel, but like, it's kind of both. And I think that's so funny. That's so Nintendo that everybody is just like, no, it's a port. No, it's a sequel. The closest that we got to like understanding what it really was or guessing what it really was like, oh, it's a sequel, but it uses a lot of the same assets. Even that wasn't strictly true. It was really in the middle. It's kind of both. It brings together every single character that has ever been in Smash. And that's kind of genius because they didn't have to like do a lot of whole new stuff, yet they got to please fans. Just like, oh, bring back this guy, bring back this guy. There's so many of those. It's like, it pleases all those people who have lost characters that they love, ice climbers and all that stuff. And at the same time, it acts as a really awesome, just like collection. It's like it's just a big Smash Brothers fan service explosion celebration, and that's so awesome. And I love that like they knew what audience they were talking to. They when they were talking about it, they were like going into all the little details of little changes for individual characters and stuff like that. Like really the stuff that the Smash fans are looking for, that they really want to see. And I thought that was really cool. They really gave it to them, you know? And it's like, there's a part of me that I feel like if you just told me like, oh, the new Smash is going to have like barely any new characters. And they even said that. They said there's going to be not very many. I'd be like, wow, what a big disappointment. Yet somehow bringing in all the old ones, it just, I don't know, like that. It's like that kind of makes up for it. And I'm seeing this in the Smash community. They seem to be going crazy for it. They're so happy, even though there's not a whole lot of new, but like, you know, there's some new stages and stuff, and we have inklings, and then talking about fan service, talking about Smash Brothers, just gigantic celebration. They're like, okay, we got one more character to reveal to you, one more, and look at that. It is the #1 fan desired. It's Ridley. It's the one that people have been asking for probably more than anything. I mean, there are a handful of characters that, you know, that come up a lot. King K. Rool, I see that one a lot. But Ridley, he was the #1. He was the #1 that everybody was asking for. And they were just like, fine, let's do it. And like, even though it was just one reveal, that still made such a big difference, you know? It still ended up meaning so much. And coming right at the end like that was really cool. And I was really hoping for that. For like the whole time, I'm like, please don't let Inklings be the only thing. So yeah, like bringing in Ridley at the end, it was just like, it might have just been the one thing, but that was still really cool. And by the time you hear this, you'll probably know, but it sounds like they're going to reveal another one tonight, like at the Invitationals or something, because they were saying it sounds like there's one more character that hasn't been revealed, so I don't really know. We'll see. But we're talking about the presentation right now. Ridley was terrific. It was a really awesome trailer, and I was really glad that it got you know, a full CG trailer. It wasn't just like, oh, here he is, you know, so they definitely delivered on that front too. It looks like a cool game, and I love that Nintendo is here with it. They're not teasing it for years and years. They were just like, it exists, and then at E3, here it is. Break it open, play it a ton, tell everyone about all the mechanics and all the characters and everything like that, so that by the time it releases in December, we all know what it is. We're all super hyped for it. And it is really, it just looks great. Even if it's like less of a step forward in terms of just like amount of content and new characters and stuff than the other games have been, at the same time, everyone is just so happy about how much of a great celebration it is. So just every single character is making a return, and it's genius. It's Nintendo level genius that I just couldn't have seen coming for some reason. You know what I mean? I just did not see it coming. Still questions about modes. I'm like, are they gonna, if they're bringing back all the characters, are they gonna bring back all the modes? Are we gonna get adventure mode or something? I'm still not getting my hopes up in that department at all. But I am hoping for some sort of, I don't know, slightly more substantial single player. If not, it won't be the worst thing in the world. I know that that's still kind of it's still a little bit of a minority desire. Most people just want Smash. They want it to be good. They want it to fight and play well, and people seem to be very satisfied with how it's looking, and they seem to have just really put so much effort into tweaking it. I mean, Sakurai was saying, he's like, oh, it's like 10 billion individual tweaks they're making to all these characters in this game. So like, that's really cool. I can see the passion and just like the effort that they're putting into it. I'm glad it's releasing this year, and yeah, it looks great. However, that does bring us to the elephant in the room. This direct did not do much. It didn't end up doing much. It was a little disappointing, and like I'm not as disappointed as I feel like I would have been in years past, because I've been pretty disappointed with some Nintendo Directs and you know, E3 presentations before, going and expecting a lot and then just being let down, even when it seems like certain that you're gonna get a lot or whatever. In this case, like I said in the pre-show video, they already have a lot coming. Like the rest of this year is barren, but like overall there's a lot of stuff already coming, which made me feel like maybe we won't get a lot of new stuff. And then like, and like it's like, okay, I didn't want to go this far in like I said this to my patrons in an upcoming Arlo cast. Sorry, this is a spoiler for you guys if you get those. But like, I didn't want to say it really publicly. I did say that my expectations were in check and a little bit low. But what I didn't say, because I didn't want to sound like too much of a bummer and too much of a pessimist, but like last night, or even like a couple days ago, I just started to get this sinking feeling in my stomach, where like before my expectations were kind of like mid to low. And then I started being like, I could sense it coming. I was just like, I could really see it not being, I mean, like basically nothing. Maybe it's just been too long since like a really big letdown. You know what I mean? I know that sounds kind of terrible. Nintendo's been doing great and everything, but I was just kind of like, oh, it's been a while since they've just pulled the rug out from under us. You know, like 2017 was so good. So I kind of started to have this feeling. I was like, oh man, I'll bet they're not going to reveal anything. Not even like what feels like the bare minimum. And it ended up being kind of right. And like, but like, I'm not too bummed about it, because my expectations were in check, and you know, they've got plenty of other opportunities throughout the year to reveal games. It's fun to get excited for E3, and it's fun to imagine that there's one big presentation where they reveal a ton of stuff. But it's not always realistic. They're just not always going to do that. It's just how it is. As much as we hope and we think that they are, they're not. And this was one of those years where they were just like, we revealed so much last year because the Switch had just come out. This time, we just didn't really have much. It was mostly just Smash. And like, you know what, to their credit, Smash did carry the show a lot. Like, people are, I'm really surprised that there aren't more angry people. I'm seeing some, but like all the Smash fans, just like, they just don't even care. They're just like, what rest of the presentation? Who cares? Who cares about other video games? We have like the most amazing Smash coming. So that's cool. So yeah, it's like, you know, it's disappointing. I'm sad a little bit. You know, I wanted more. I wanted an Animal Crossing or just something. Instead, we got Mario Party. And like, hey, it'll probably end up being cool. Just doesn't seem like the kind of big, huge, massive, exciting game that really amps me up. But yeah, it's not a huge problem. It's really not a big problem. As you'll see me talk about, you know, in the future, going forward videos on this topic, it's just like, yeah, 2018, it didn't end up being 2017, that's for sure. But I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's okay to be disappointed sometimes, especially after Nintendo's been doing so well. So, but I will say I'm now like, now after a kind of disappointing E3, like now each Direct coming up, I'm just gonna be like, ooh, what's it gonna be? And you know, of course I'm not supposed to get my expectations up that high. But they will be a little higher, just because it's like now, who the heck knows? You know, we didn't get anything for E3, so now each individual Direct, who even knows what we'll get? And I'll just keep my fingers crossed for Pikmin 4. I just keep them crossed all the time. From now on, you'll see me in videos and you'll see my fingers crossed, because they're gonna stay that way until I get an announcement for Pikmin 4. Not really though. So that was the Nintendo's E3 2018 Nintendo Direct. Yeah, not a lot of stuff to talk about, not a lot of big points. But that's all right. I'm still pretty optimistic about the future. We still know about so many good games that are coming. And again, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't super expecting a ton of stuff. We know about Pokemon next year and a Pokemon this year, which kind of, you know, that one's less exciting, but still important. But we know about a big one next year that's humongously exciting. Metroid Prime 4 is very possible for next year. And then beyond that, we could start getting into like potential other Marios and Zeldas territory. So just like, yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And we know Animal Crossing will come eventually. Hopefully next year, but you know, Pikmin 4 will come eventually. We know other surprises will come eventually. We know there was no retro. I was so sure, even though I tell myself to not be sure about anything ever, I was so sure that the retro, the rumor, I was sure that would be a thing. And it ended up not being, like, at least that. Because oh man, the Pokemon one really threw me off. The Pokemon, all the rumors surrounding that, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu ended up being 100% true. So I was just like, oh, I bet this other one too. The one about the retro game, like for sure. And just no, they just didn't. I mean, like it could still be real. They could just reveal it later, but yeah, I don't know. A lot to look forward to. But until then, this is Arlo signing off. I have to go and like really hastily make this video and like 12 other videos and just work just like 16 hours a day for the next for the next week. So if you'll excuse me.